Welcome to Igniting Inspired Inquiry, a space for real conversations with incredible humans. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm here to open the door to reflection, resonance, and revelation. If you have a moment to like, share, subscribe, or review, I would deeply appreciate you sharing the love. This is a space for truth, trust, and the kind of insight that comes from simply being human. Thank you for being here. Let's begin. Excited today because I get to invite a guest back. So we get to see and play and explore inquiry with a dear friend, Georgia, today. So thank you so much for coming back. Can't have been too bad if you were here again. I'm really excited to see where we go, but where I want to open it up for you is to share with us. And yes, we asked you this on the first podcast, but maybe it feels a little different to answer today. Who is Georgia?
Well, thank you for having me again, having me back.
You're
It's
welcome.
so nice to be back in your presence, even virtually. I'm very grateful for your yeah, for your friendship, your this relationship. But yeah, I feel like I know myself just, you know, a little bit better, a little bit more. I think that's, what life is about. We continue to to know ourselves a little bit better. Um, I'm a 29-year-old Georgia turning 30 this year, so that's a pretty big kind of
Mm-hmm.
milestone. Um, but yeah, I think if there's any similarities from like last time I was here, I'm still um, a movement facilitator. That's really important to me. A dog mom to a Groodle and explorer. I think those are yeah, there's some pretty big words there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Says a lot, and that's all good. I love it. So here we get and even in season two, and even with people coming back, I still love asking this question because there are always more than one moment. And so the first question, the common thread, what is one moment, belief, or experience that changed the way you see the world?
I feel like um, the last few months I've been able to just inquire a little bit more of the dialogue in my own mind. Like I've actually been able to really access it a little bit better, whereas for a long time I feel like I was just blocking it off. I just kind of numbed, you know, distracted from actually getting to know like George's mind. And I think the one of the things I was really inquiring about and reflected on was just my own happiness and my own um like this sense of needing to have control over others. And it felt really uncomfortable, and it just got me really stressed and really angry. Um, so one of the things that really kind of has changed, well, my relationships mainly, um, and also just how I see, well, the world is that like I really can't control anybody. Like I can't change anybody. And I know it sounds like it might be like kind of cliche for some people, or really like a common kind of piece of information that for me, I feel like I hadn't really learned that yet, you know? And that like just giving myself that constant like reminder has brought like a lot of peace to my soul, you know. Um, yeah, so it's probably the one of the biggest kind of the main takeaways for me, coming into the
Mm-hmm.
second season and, you know, having a bit of time off like at the beginning of the year. Um, just a lot of that kind of reflection around, yeah, in my like how my happiness, like this result of my happiness based on um letting go of this control of others and, you know, wanting to change them because, that's their own journey. And I cannot base my happiness around others.
That's incredible. It's
Right. And
so
it's kind of,
huge to shift
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
think what I was hearing is like it's interesting with perspectives and big shifts like this within our awarenesses because when you say it like it sounds cliche, I think that the difference there is like we can know it logically, but when we
Hmm.
like really have an embodied experience of like, oh, this is how it's showing up for me, that's when it really truly lands. Like when we understand how that concept or perspective for ourselves is limiting us, or what I see is creating suffering,
Hmm.
that's when we really like, this has got to change. And it's so powerful. And I can connect to that because I really had the same experience of understanding, not necessarily controlling others, but how I was trying to control how everything went. And that perception,
Mm.
because it's not real, of control was creating my own suffering. It was making me unsafe in those environments, which is all my own doing. Like, and the perception that I could control an outcome was actually just blocking me from seeing what the universe was bringing forward for me.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you just saying controlling an outcome as
Mm-hmm.
well, like not only others, but just that's why I said to you at the beginning, you asked me, how are things?
Mm.
And like I guess I mentioned that I'm unhappy. There's parts
Mm.
of my lifestyle right now or my work life balance, it's just not working.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to more so manifest this like feeling I want to cultivate. Um, um, but letting go of like planning and like, being like, I have to like live here one day,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, because I've just been through, you know, too much. There's been so much that's happened to me that has really taught me that like I really can't plan. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's so
um,
true.
so
But also, I
I'm with
think that
yeah,
when we try to plan too much, we're in the way.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
we really are being called to personally and as a society to be in the listening of what's coming through, to trust where we're being guided and be available for that because there's an absence of that when we're trying to control, when we're trying to plan, and it's okay to plan, but that plan still needs to be malleable.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
sometimes we need that. We need to like have
yeah,
little pieces figured out. And it's like, oh, well, if this happens, I'll go and I'll do this, but not hyper plan. But also, like, if that doesn't happen, it's like, okay, I see where I'm being guided now, and this is okay.
exactly. Like I guess there's so many different things there's so many different aspects of our life. There's so many different like um I guess avenues of our you know just day to day, right? Like I can still write down plans like, okay, I have this to do this week, I have to get this done on this day. So I guess it's just trying to find a balance of, you know, even if for some reason I missed like a really important task that I actually planned for, to also like kind of be able to release that control as well. Like
That's really
even if
liberating
it,
to I.
yeah, even if it was like an admin responsibility of my
Hmm.
life that was like very adult, that I just completely, I don't know, yeah, forgot, or something else got, had to happen, or came in front. Anyways, so I think it's just applying, it's really beautiful because you can apply that to so many things in your life, like,
Absolutely.
and one of the things, yeah, it's like it does revolve around the let them theory, because I finally, um w- uh with Mel Robbins, and my mom was always for so long being like, you should listen to this, you should do this, read this. I'm like, no, I just don't, I don't have the the focus right now to be able to want to read that or listen to that. I just don't. And so, and it had to happen in my own time. Like it
Yeah.
was like, it
Yeah.
just wasn't the
Mm.
right timing. And I really believe that. And then
Yeah.
when I was ready to receive it, I was ready. And I'm
Yeah.
not
I
saying
hear
like
you.
I'm not saying like I'm fully healed. I'm this perfect understanding person of letting go of control, and I don't get like a little bit wound up if
It's a
something
practice.
happens. But it's the idea that it's in my brain. I'm rewiring the
Hmm.
thoughts. Like it takes time.
It
That's
does.
another
And
really
it's a practice.
key.
It's
Yeah.
not something we
Yeah.
perfect. It's absolutely a practice that we keep coming
Yeah.
back. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
that's that saying, right? Even with book or a podcast or information that people have told us repeatedly, when the teacher, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But I
Yeah.
also think it's the same as like we hear these pieces, we hear these pieces, we hear these pieces, and it doesn't land because we're not ready, or we there's certain pieces of the understanding that have to happen first. And then when it
Yeah.
lands, and you're like, ah, yeah. And I think it really truly lands when we embody it, when we put it into practice. We can't
Yeah.
just conceptualize it. It has to be
Yeah.
played with.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing. Now, like when I had a guest who's been here before, or when I know them a little, or depending on where we go with our episode, I like to dial into where I feel like, well, I want to go next. So actually, it kind of adds on to what you've just shared, but also perhaps a different piece of it universally. And what I'm seeing and feeling with others in conversation is, do you also feel like there's an element of not just people are stressed or people are too busy, but there's an element of life is moving a lot faster. Even the lessons within ourselves are moving a lot faster. So there's a piece comes in and we're like, oh, I see it. Oh, I got it. I can transform it. Boom. And then there's another piece comes in and I'm aware of that. I'm going to emotionally transmute. It's like, do you feel like that is an element for you, like for yourself, and then also for the work that you're doing or for who you're working, supporting in your movement practices and things like that? Do you feel like people are transcending? Is
Mm,
a big question.
yeah. Can you ask the first part of it again? Because I just
Do you
feel like
feel
there was
like
a.
just generally like that life is moving faster, but it's not
Mm,
necessarily all bad. It's just like the pace and the way we're leveling up and the way we're coming to our decisions, but also in our own
mm,
integrations is just generally moving faster?
yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess I feel like I don't know if it's faster. I feel like when you do something so many times, you start to do it without really thinking about it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Like it
another
becomes like an
way.
autopilot. You
Yep.
know. So I
Mm.
feel like if anything, it feels like that.
Hmm.
So maybe I feel like I'm losing time because I feel like I'm disconnecting from those moments that feel really repetitive.
Hmm.
like my drive to work, you know. Um, yeah.
Do you feel
So
like that's because of the pace in which things are going, or do you feel like that is a shift in presence?
yeah, I feel like it could be both. Like it can be a shift in presence, but then I feel like there's times where um like there's almost like more things just added. It's like we're trying to get the most out of, a certain time frame to just
Mm-hmm.
get more done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even like with, for example, my job, it feels like the role I started with is just like not what I thought because it
Mm-hmm.
it just things keep getting added, but it's not realistic to the amount of time I actually have in my
Mm.
week to work. So it's like, you know,
I feel like that was that will be a lot of people will be listening will be feeling the same way.
yeah.
So how do you feel like negatively or positively? How do you feel like that is affecting you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, like it's teaching me a lot to, to learn to communicate with my team, um to ask for help, to to um communicate like how much time something is going to take me so that, you know, can be realistic and, we can work together and, you know, try to, you know, yeah, get something done. But yeah, because sometimes it's just like, you know, you want to go for the moon, right? In a way, you want to just like do, um, like go above and beyond, and that's amazing as well. But it, there also has to be like a logical,
Mm-hmm.
these
Mm-hmm.
expectations, right?
Yep.
But like even
I
in
think
my, yeah,
you're good.
even in my own life, sometimes I'm like, oh, I gotta like do more,
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it's just like, okay, yeah, cool, but like, but but why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's your intention? Like, is that gonna make you feel like more successful? Like, what does be feeling successful even mean anymore? Like, everybody has their own kind of definition of what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Agreed.
you know? So
Yeah.
something I've been exploring with kind of this if we go back to presence, like we go back to the idea of like disconnecting from being present. um I've been exploring like as a movement facilitator, like exploring more of the micro moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually lately I've been saying in the yoga practice, how does this first down dog feel? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
actually the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's
Each
it's the
moment.
it's the it's this first moment, like you're not going to get this back.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's something new about it that you've never felt before. Like you're just going inward, like more inward
Mm.
into the inner sensations.
That's really beautiful.
So I feel like I just kind of bring that up, in terms of movement, because it might relate to some people.
Well, and it can relate to life outside of
Yeah.
movement as well, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing. I think there's a couple of things like when you were saying it, you're less present because you feel more like it's more natural, it's more on innate, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know that sometimes it's not that we're less present, it's just that we're not thinking about it. We're
Mm,
naturally going through the movements and it feels good and
yeah.
we're embodied and all of that. And then the
Yeah.
other piece is like it's embodied, it's like innate within us. So there isn't
Yeah.
that process, like we're naturally reacting to life in our environment, which is just so powerful.
Hmm.
And then I think what I also hear in what you're sharing is like just having awareness of when we're busy for the sake of busy, we're busy because that's the energy that we've been in,
Mm,
and not noticing when we can step out of that. So then you
mm,
are like your answer to that was like, why? Why do I need to do that? And there's
yeah.
so much of that. But what I heard in that was, I think, a core belief that a lot of people are challenged with, and myself as well, if I'm not present and like aligned with my authentic self and just sort of buying into the energy, is have I done enough?
Mm,
Or am I doing enough? And
yeah.
that conditioning is coming up for a lot of us.
Mm,
And I think one of the easiest ways to question that is to ask, like, what is enough?
yeah.
Because often we're striving for enough or for more, but we don't even know what that looks like. So we're actually striving for something we haven't even decided or we haven't put a marker on. And so it's like the same with
Yeah.
perfection. It's like when I work with my clients, they're like, oh, it needs to be perfect. And I'm like, okay, great. What does perfect look like? And they're like, I, they don't know. And I'm like, so then you're striving for something that you haven't decided, therefore you can't reach it.
Yeah.
And that's a
It's
pretty
a really
hard
good.
bar to set on yourself because you can't
Oh,
find it.
yeah. It's something I talk about a lot, actually, this idea of even like, as humans, a lot of us feel like we're not enough, like just us as
Absolutely.
as individuals,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, because the
you
outside world
know,
is measuring us
yeah, yeah,
always.
yeah, yeah. And I talk about like um another thing I kind of talk in kind of as a side branch to that is like it's really hard, and you mentioned like I think you said something about measuring.
Hmm.
Did you say the word measure?
Hmm.
What is enough or something like that, if I'm
Hmm.
correct?
Yep.
But it's really hard to measure progress for that reason.
Because you
Like,
keep moving the bar forward. You
yeah,
keep
yeah,
moving
yeah.
forward and forward. Yep.
Or like we have new experiences, we evolve as
Hmm.
humans, as individuals, we change, we grow, and yeah, and then it's always kind of yeah, it's a spectrum.
Hmm. Agreed.
So
Agreed.
it and so I, that's why like I say it's not good or bad, it just is.
Yep. Agreed.
It's not right or wrong, it just is. Like it and I think
And there's that measuring, right? Because we're in
yeah,
that constantly. And
yeah,
even the measuring of whether it's good or bad or whether it went the way you wanted it to or not. It's like
yeah.
even that is, well, it's spending the energy we don't need. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah, I love that we're talking about this now because it really is like it's like a huge like if I looked at the work I do and if I like when I've brainstormed of you know what all the different intentions I've ever set in like my yoga practices or some of my movement that where I teach like everything I know. It's kind of
Hmm.
like a signature class of mine I teach. It's just a fusion of everything and like a celebration of like releasing energy and
Hmm.
dynamic movement. And it's along the lines of empowerment. But that core principle is around like radical acceptance and
Hmm.
um, the reminder that you're enough.
Hmm. So much more than enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's just like it's just there's more to
Yeah.
you than
Yeah.
you think. Like
So
and it's
much more.
hard. Yeah.
And I think that even just knowing that that is the way our brain operates, but we are
Yeah.
more than we think. Like the thoughts that come,
Yeah.
we're more than that. And
Yeah.
knowing that about ourselves, and then also just understanding that, like, because I heard myself say before, it's like the external world, like we're surrounded by measuring and like things telling us that we're not enough. And
Yeah.
someone might hear that and be like, well, then how to, like, it's,
Yeah.
I can't work with that. Like that's, what do I do? It's out of my
Yeah.
control. It's not out of
Yeah.
your control because what matters the most is that it's not the external world that will influence you. It's the fact that you're listening to that external world and taking it into your internal world and deciding that you're not enough. But the
Yeah.
reason I share that is because you decided that you can undecide that. You can decide that you're not on a measure and that you just are who you are and you're doing what you're doing and you're loving it or you're not loving it. But it isn't
Hmm.
a measure.
Yeah.
And it's so, I mean, you know this. That's why you're sharing it in your classes. And I'm so freaking glad to hear that because that's where our power comes from, right?
Yeah.
It's from understanding, A, we're all fucking different. So there isn't any possible way. Like, it's actually delusional to think that you can compare yourself with another human because not one of us is the same. Not one. Not one. You cannot measure.
No.
There isn't anything to measure with.
No.
But then also, what are you measuring yourself against? And is it alive for you? Like, is that
Mm.
on purpose?
Yeah.
It's so special.
I
Your
really like
self-worth is
I really
everything, right?
yeah, and I really like the idea or the reminder of the external world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not that the external world will influence you, it's how you listen to
And it's
it
not
or
yours.
perceive it. And so that was it's a really good reminder because it kind of goes into this like the idea that you can't control what other people
Mm-hmm.
do. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like let them, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah,
And so I try
agreed.
to like, when I'm looking at and looking at my happiness and I'm like assessing, or evaluating my like my current state, my this, this moment I'm in my life
Mm-hmm. Mm.
where I'm like, I feel like something has to change. I feel like something doesn't feel quite right or in alignment.
Yep.
There's a part of me that's like, I want to honor that part, but then another part where I'm like, okay, but you know, are you happy? But do you need to kind of remind yourself that, of the external factors around
Mm-hmm.
you? Maybe they're just influencing you a bit too much. Maybe you're letting them influence you a bit
Yeah.
too much. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
that trying to find that balance of, okay, what is it that in your heart that you feel like you really need to like make change, or is it how you're kind of listening to those external parts, if that makes
Mm.
sense at all?
Well, it makes complete sense. And it also just means that you're being really
Yeah,
discerning about the decision that you're making and that what you're coming to. But
yeah.
it's also really important because I think another thing that happens with a lot of humans is that they look at what you're sharing, this like point of conflict or this moment of pivot that you're being called for, right? And they look at that as meaning that they're not doing life right, but what you're experiencing is exactly what we're meant to have often again. Like we go through seasons within ourselves. So we're
Mm,
not going to have every single season and every single year is like this. It's like we've got to get to these points, but they're there for a reason.
yeah.
And whether you pivot or whether you don't, maybe it's just there so you don't pivot, but you're like, actually, I needed this reminder to make these stronger decisions or to really get clear on my core values. So I think it's like, for me, like from listening to you, it's like it's not a bad place to be. Really, you're just deeply assessing where you want to get to
Mm,
within yourself.
yeah. No, yeah, of
So cool.
course. And I think I said it in my description, like you know,
Mm,
about me is like, I don't see, I don't like the obstacles that I've been through, the suffering, like like, it's not bad to me,
hmm
like the things I've been through, they're not bad.
I
Um,
agree.
like I see them more as a positive
hmm
because like, we know um, like to suffer, we then have compassion,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah. And we get to know ourselves even deeper each
Yeah,
and every
yeah,
time.
yeah. So that's why I really do want to share because I
Mm,
think it's like if we don't, I feel alone if I don't share. And then
mhm.
when we share, we create connections. We learn about others. We create these new relationships, and that's really
That's
cool.
it. Yeah. New relationships, or when we're willing to share,
Deeper.
we can deepen existing
Yeah.
relationships, which is really beautiful. And I think that's what people are pining for is that deeper connection and wondering how to do that. And how to do that is easy to share on a
Yeah.
deeper level, share on a more vulnerable level, let yourself lean and let people see you more,
Mm.
not in your strengths and your air positives and all the shiny well bells and whistles, but actually in your challenges and your
Yeah.
vulnerabilities. It's like that is literally the recipe for a deeper connection.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Now, reflecting light, question 3. Georgia, you have a question for me.
What is kind of the most challenging experience you've been through lately? How did you find your way through? Or not even lately, but it could be
Mm-hmm.
recently. But
Mm-hmm.
something that you felt was, challenging for you, an obstacle, you might have, you know, not known how you were going to get through it. And if you don't
Mm.
want to share details, that's okay. But
Yeah.
even if it's just some, you know, wisdom in how you've kind of found your way through. Because lately I feel like I'm trying to have hope and to find my way through a
Mm-hmm.
difficult time. Um, so I felt like I needed to ask somebody that was just full of wisdom, you know,
Mm-hmm.
a question that could maybe support, me in my journey, but also hopefully help others too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's many.
Yeah.
Um, and it's actually what as you ask, like when you say the most challenging experiences, I also just want to reflect back something you just said about if I look back, I don't see any of them as bad
Mm,
or negative, even the scariest, heaviest parts. Like even it doesn't mean I didn't see them as that way at the in the moment, but I don't see them that way now. Even losing my sister, I don't see that as bad. I don't see me as a victim of that. And I think that's probably the biggest piece. But I think honestly, the most challenging times are when you can't see the way forward.
mm,
But one of the reasons why it's so challenging is because you can't see the way forward, you go into I'm failing. And then you're in this self-deprecating, I'm a bad person, just such deep lack of self-support. And when you're in that space, you're basically feeling like you're not cutting it, which is like coming back to other pieces of our conversation today. It's like that we're not enough and that we're and then all of these reasons and excuses come in. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm just and it's just like you're looking for the evidence of why you're failing or why you're not moving forward. And this is a hard concept to get until you really let yourself dive into it. But to trust that whatever is happening for you is meant and to lean into the feeling. Because I think that one of the most challenging things of life is resisting feelings.
mm,
I'm feeling this, but I don't want to feel it. So I'm going to do whatever it takes not to feel it, but wondering why you can't get through the feeling.
hmm
It's like because you got to go in. It's like it's a tunnel, not a cave. But when it's really bad, we think it's a cave and we think that we're not going to be able to get out. But we actually have to understand that in order to get through, we have to feel it. Is that making sense for you?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I'm also trying to answer it in a way that people can really, no matter where they're at, they can feel that, right? And they can,
Yeah.
but trust that. I think that the coming back to that measuring, right, is like the moment things aren't going right, we make it mean something rather than look at what it's offering us.
Hmm.
So, what is this here to teach me? How can I sit with this? Or how can I move it? Or what can I do to support myself? And that is not usually where humans go. How can I support myself? How can I work through this? How can I explore this? That's not usually where they go. They go to, I'm a bad person. I shouldn't be feeling this way. I don't want to feel that. I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to make myself feel this and that. You know what I mean? And you and I have talked about this in other ways before, but all of that I was saying, like the measuring, the failure, the like, all the evidence of how you're the bad person, not doing it right, da 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 da. I mean, that all takes you away from finding the solution. But at the most, the deepest part is it has you forgetting to trust in your capability and your capacity. It has you
Hmm.
forgetting to trust in yourself and forgetting that you're not alone and that you're always guided.
Yeah. I mean, like, and that's the thing is like there's a logic, there's a part if I think that people that like for me, I'll speak about me. I've been
Mm,
doing that work of trying to reframe the narrative of like
hmm
where I want my brain to start to go into when these moments come up for me.
hmm
But then there's sometimes it just feels like really difficult where it doesn't matter all that what I know, that work I've done, it doesn't matter. It just
hmm
it can't the brain can't actually compartmentalize it. It's just
hmm
feels
Yep.
like yeah,
Do you think
you
that,
can't see the logic behind it. You can't see that logical
yeah,
breakdown, right?
do you know why though? And sometimes it might not be true for you, but it could be. Sometimes it's because we're going into the reframe before we've felt the feelings and understood why they're there.
Mm,
Because when we feel the feelings and understand why they're there, that energy is no longer in the way. So then when we reframe, it actually feels right. But if the
yeah,
feeling's still there and we're trying to move past it, we're trying to, like, I'm just going to drive around here and get around it
yeah,
and reframe, then part of the reframe is making us feel fake because I've
yeah,
still got this feeling here and it needs to be
yeah,
acknowledged. And it needs to, as
yeah.
you know, with your movement practices, it needs to be moved.
Well, that's what I talk about. That's basically what radical acceptance is.
Yes.
It's acknowledging, and that's why whenever, someone tells me like, for example, my friend comes to me, um, like I feel this way about my body,
Mm-hmm.
I usually say, look, I validate that you feel that way. Like I want you to know that I actually greatly like have compassion that you feel I
Mm-hmm.
have compassion that you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And to that part of you that feels that way. But if there's any part of this that helps at all, I just want you to know I don't see you that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I want people to know, like, because there are times that I feel, not good about myself. Um, and because I've done a lot of that work as well, accepting that,
Mm.
that part of you that feels that way, right? Because it's not all positive poly crap, like it's
Nope.
just not like that. Like you
Nope.
just
There's a
so
part of our brain that is
so when you
wired to
yeah,
give us all of that.
yeah. So it's so funny that you talk about that because the other day I actually, I was talking to my partner. I was like just talking out like some emotion and just just crying. I was just like needing to let it out and like telling him how I felt. I couldn't see a way forward. I didn't know what to do. And he's just like, you almost like giving me this motivational, like a few kind of words of like, you know, you have options, you have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
blah, 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 basically the
Yeah.
logic. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
You don't want that.
and I think I just said to him, I said, I am done with this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just walked upstairs and then I came back down. He said, are you upset at me? I said, no, I just don't need that right now. I don't need you to fix
Mm-hmm.
me. I need to be held. I need you to reaffirm how I feel because he's like the logic person in the
Yeah.
relationship and I'm like the big feeler
Mm-hmm.
person, the
Yeah.
dreamer, the whatever. And like not that he doesn't
No,
feel,
I mean it's a
but
beautiful thing to understand about your partner,
yeah,
right? Is to know that
yeah.
that is not something that's available for him, and that doesn't make him less than. It just means
No.
that that's not where I go when I need
Yeah.
reassurance.
Yeah.
That's
Because I
not
just
where I
told,
go when I need to just be honored and say, "Oh,
yeah,
this sucks."
yeah. Because I told him, I said, look, I've been doing so much of the work
Yeah,
and I'm proud of the work I've been doing, but right now in this moment, I don't want to, I can't think
that's
like that.
beautiful. That's beautiful. But
So,
at the same time, you're doing the work by being in that expression.
yeah,
You're doing the work by letting yourself feel it and being frustrated and being honest. Like that is the work.
yeah.
And I hope that more people understand that and receive that because they think that when they're feeling that way, they're doing something wrong. And it's not true. It's human.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm,
such a beautiful thing.
yeah.
But it also what I hear and what I think is maybe if someone's listening or for yourself, and I want to come back to another point that came up in your question one, is like asking yourself in that moment too, is this mine? Especially when it's someone
Mm,
that comes to you and says, I'm thinking about this in my body. Is that yours? And what I
mm,
mean by that is maybe that was something that someone passed on to you and then you repeated it in your mind and it's become a belief. Or is
mm,
it an external perception based on what you're watching, viewing, comparing yourself against?
mm-hmm.
Or literally, is it your amygdala, your threat detector? Like, is it that doubt that you've just fed for a long time? And if you open that up, is it true? And that's really powerful because when we look, I do that with a lot of my clients. It's like when we look at the way we're thinking, we wish we weren't thinking, and then ask ourselves, is it ours? A lot of things can dissolve. And that comes back to what you were saying. Like, is it because of external perception? Is it because of a measure
Yeah.
that I feel like I need to meet that isn't even mine? And that might be why it feels so uncomfortable within the body because it's like, doesn't even fit your mold, dude.
Dude.
Does it though?
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is often the way I just said that, that's often how I call myself out. Like I'll hear something and I'm like, dude, that's not in alignment with you. What are you doing? I'll hear a really big fear and I'm like, that is like delusional. Come on now. And then I will answer myself in a loving way. And I think, yes, some people might be like, that's crazy. It absolutely works. And my clients will tell you that it does. You've got to reason with those parts of yourself that you've given too much noise to. You've listened for too long. And it's like, no, not
Yeah.
hearing that anymore because it's not true. It's not of service to me and it ain't
Yeah.
moving me forward.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are really important questions I started asking myself too.
Hmm.
Um,
Whoo, so
wow.
beautiful. I
So
love
good.
that.
I love where this went today.
Me too. Me too. And so I think with what I loved hearing were your intentions and your offerings within your classes. And I'm really, really stoked and grateful and just, yeah, that you're offering that to like we need to be receiving that and from aligned people who really are sharing from experience. And I think we're lucky to have that. in your movement classes. So that's where I wanted to go now. It's like, if people are listening, where do they find you?
Well, I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Said like in Australia,
I'm
Melbourne.
Melbourne, Australia. Like I'm a permanent resident now, so
There
that's
you
cool.
go. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm just in like kind of the you could say the inner west of this like of
Hmm.
the city of Melbourne. A, a studio called My Mama Said Studios.
What was the name
Um,
of it?
My Mama Said.
Okay, cool.
So, and we have
You
like
do some, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
two different
You do online as
locations.
well.
Yeah, so at the moment, like I don't have any new online stuff, but they have, I have some online videos with them, like
Hmm.
with the studio's digital studio,
Yep.
um, which is through their website. And then I have some stuff on YouTube from like a few years ago still, but
Yeah.
um, I might be adding to those at like the idea in the next few months might be I might be doing some more online
Cool.
content.
Yay.
So might be yeah. Um yeah,
That's
that's kind of where
awesome.
I'm at currently.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll share that in the show notes. So if people are around you, or if they want to tune into some of the things you've done online and keep an eye out for when the new stuff comes.
Yeah,
So that people
that'd
can
be
connect
great.
with you.
Yay.
I think it's absolutely just so on point for what people need to receive and what they need to shift within themselves is that really aligning with their self-worth and becoming their best teammate is like one of my favorite things is we get to be our best friend, we get to be our best cheerleader, and we get to treat we oh, no one knows like what we need to hear like we do, and so why not be our best mate?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking to ourselves the most, so
Hmm. Exactly. So why
why
not let
not?
it be highly of service and deeply supportive and kind and maybe even a bit fun?
Yeah, that's great.
Yay! Georgia, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me back. It's
Oh
always
my
such a
gosh.
pleasure and
I'm excited. I'm excited about people getting to get to know the guests by coming back and maybe even excited about what we talk about next and just really honored to have you here. Thank you so much. And
thanks so
for all of
much.
those of you who are listening, there's notes in every show, especially this one on how you can connect with Georgia. We're both here if you want to, if anything that spoke to you, you want to have a deeper conversation. And we are always here to open the door for reflection, revelation, and a beautiful resonance for healing, for growth, and for just getting to know ourselves as a human. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.